Hello and welcome to yet another episode of GDG Tech Sessions. So today we have a little bit different kind of session for you today. So instead of talking on a specific topic for developers that you've usually seen on GDG Tech Sessions, today I would like to talk a little bit about organizing events and how this works. So we have two great guests with us that will do a short introduction of their concept and things that they have done, and also we'll also invite some other people from the GDG Tech Sessions team a little bit later, where we can do a little bit of a discussion and talking about this topic of organizing events online and how, the way onwards from now on and how we will see it's happening. So without any further ado, I think it's time to introduce our great guests, and then we can talk a little bit about GDG Tech Sessions as well. So Shalom and Faiz, welcome to this stream. Yes, perfect. So Faiz has a little bit of issues with his camera, so we see him in a slightly more artistic view than probably normally. So you're a set of stripes and pixels. That's cool. That's fine. But we can still hear you.
I am a designer by profession. I'm just living up to that.
Fantastic. So I think I will leave the stage for you guys and just to talk a little bit and introduce your concept and just to talk a little bit about Android worldwide. Is that cool?
No. Don't leave me. Don't leave me with Faiz. Please don't leave me with Faiz. I'm begging you.
I thought you were used to working together.
I make him do unspeakable things.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
We're live on stream, you know that, right? Oh, that's perfect. But that's kind of one of the things that I noticed with you two is that you have this kind of really cool energy, even though you're quite far apart, like geographically and like on different sides of the world, but you kind of work really nicely together and you have this great kind of energy between you two. So that's kind of cool. So tell us a little bit more about what you've been up to.
All right, Faiz, as usual, interrupt me whenever you want because I speak too much. Well, I mean, right now we're preparing for an event on July 27th. Got some cool speakers set up for that. We actually there's a new person who's starting to help Faiz and I out a bunch. His name's Manish. He's already starting to do some work in our little Slack workspace, which is lightly used, but still, like, he's trying to help us get, I guess, be more active. Like, this is part of, you commented on how Faiz and I have an interesting rapport. I think a big part of it is how we have a shared ideology for building a community, in that seriousness is not really welcome. In the sense that, like, yeah, like, building a community is important, and like, we take that and it's near to our hearts. But like, if you don't want to do something, cool, it's all right. Like, whichever one, like, the other one will pick it up. If neither one of us wants to pick it up, then let it be not picked up at all. And I think that's enabled us to be very comfortable working together, and a lot of trust has been built up on that.
That's really cool. I think trust is a very important kind of key stone or key element of the whole this community work and working together and everything, especially when you're working on across the borders and stuff like that. So that's also another thing. But maybe you should say a few words of what is. I mean, you're organizing events, right? But then you have this thing called Android Worldwide, right? And what is it, and how does this work? Because it's also, I think, in case people don't know what it is.
Yeah. So Android Worldwide, we started pretty early in the pandemic, and it started because local communities basically shut down. Once about March 2020 hit, local communities started shutting down, because there was a conversation of, well, can we have in-person events? And we don't have virtual events, and so if we can't have in-person events, I guess we're doing nothing. A few community organizers did try creating events on Zoom and Google Hangouts. StreamYard also, I noticed, started becoming popular. And it's it kind of the idea of not having physical events, as much as that initially looked at as a problem, it kind of started to look cool if you think about it, because, well, if local communities have their communities, but they can't meet up in person, well, we can still meet up online. And if we're meeting up online, like, does it really matter where you live? So the first time I did a cross-community collaboration was, I was living in Boston, and I was moving to Toronto. So I was like, all right, well, I'm an organizer of a Boston community. I'll reach out to the Toronto community, and we'll see how we'll do a collaboration event and see how it goes. And like, people really enjoyed it. Torontonians and Bostonian engineers who would have never really interacted had like a good time just meeting, just kind of getting to know each other. And well, I guess, yeah, so that's kind of how we started. And I'd say, our goal has always been to focus on Android, not because that's actually Faiz and my core interest. Faiz, for example, is not an Android developer.
Somehow someone who's not an Android developer ended up founding an Android community. So.
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense. I spend most of my personal engineering time on like Node.js backend. My my actual professionally, for day-to-day work, I have been an Android developer, but I like playing around. The reason we went with Android was honestly just because, all right, that's what's in front of us, and we didn't want to, and we liked the idea of focusing on something because that's a community we could at least I think it felt more comfortable to build a community with a clear-cut audience. There was conversation of, do we make this mobile? So iOS is involved. How much do we involve Flutter? But either way, so we ended up getting the community started. There was, and I'd say a big part of why we were even willing to try starting a virtual community, given that both Faiz and I have significant webinar fatigue from day one. Like I don't do well with like big calls usually where you're kind of just sitting there watching, when like YouTube uploads are very easy to come by. And we knew that there are many people like us who want the content, but it's not always convenient, especially if we're all at home. Like, are you always going to get online at the right time for the event when it's going to be uploaded at your convenience? And that kind of drove a really important question of, so what's the point of people showing up to events if all they're getting is a live version of a video that they can see later? And we found out about this.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to cut in that. I think another big thing we noticed was that when local communities were doing online events, they usually invited, say, local speakers to come talk at these events. And what we realized really early on was that there has to be value more than the talks, because if you were to look up a talk on, say, Jetpack Compose, any average attendee would rather watch a talk like that from someone at Google or someone like Jake Wharton, as opposed to tuning in at a specific time to watch someone from the local community. That kind of led us in the direction that a community is so much more than just talks, right? Yes, they have their value. Yes, the upskilling is important, but that sort of got us thinking in the direction, led us to where we are right now. And I just realized that the timer on the top says 11 minutes, but Shalom hasn't still said what we really are. Android Worldwide, the way what we like to call ourselves is a community of communities.
Yeah.
So the way things were happening was that each community was sort of working end to end by itself, right from scheduling events to inviting speakers, running the event, and post-event attendee engagement. This community of communities aims to group, for lack of a better word, all communities worldwide under one umbrella to sort of run similar events but together. What we're hoping to achieve through something like this is a bunch of things, right? So one is obviously the divide between borders falls apart. Suddenly you're meeting, engaging, and interacting with like-minded people from very different backgrounds, experiences, goals, and cultures. Which, in any case, when you broaden your horizons, people grow as both people and as developers. So there's one big advantage. The other is organizers really jumped on board with the initial idea because they now could run events without doing all the heavy lifting by themselves.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there was a quarterly event happening. There was a global community of other communities who was helping them source speakers, helping them schedule events. So they still could provide the same high quality content with less than 10% of the original heavy lifting. And of course, our favorite part is always the socializing. So like I said, you're meeting like-minded people. And our events aren't just talks, because in a traditional online event, people were only interacting with each other using YouTube comments or sometimes in a Zoom chat. But we have dedicated time set apart for people to meet each other, have conversations, and this is reflected even in our platform choice.
Yeah.
So rather than a Meet or a Zoom, we use something like a Remo or an AirMeet, which not only allows for but encourages people to interact in small groups as opposed to one person talking to 100 people at a time.
Yeah. So basically, if I kind of have to summarize the not the type of the events, but more of properties of the event, I would say one of the things that you mentioned is this availability on demand kind of thing, that it's not always just live, but you can always find it later and watch it. That's one of those things that I've heard you mention. And the other one is also kind of interactivity over kind of broadcasting way of doing stuff, right? So instead of just streaming to everyone and just like making people just receivers, you kind of engage them as well and make them participate in smaller groups and interact with each other in one way or another. And that's actually a quite cool thing, because I think it's about time to also introduce the other team, which had a very similar kind of thoughts and ideas, and but on a little bit different topic. It's not Android, but it was more kind of a generic JDG kind of events topic. But then there was another team called GDG Tech Sessions that was kind of having a lot of the same thoughts in one way or another. Before we do that, I just have to, you've probably seen this slide on screen for some time now, but I will just say it again. So if you have any questions, please use the YouTube chat of the stream where you're watching this talk right now, or this stream right now. Use the chat to ask questions, and we'll pull those questions in and do short. I'll try to answer them as well. So now I guess it's time to introduce the like I said, the other team, the GDG Tech Sessions team, that had kind of many of the similar ideas like what you had. And that was kind of one of the cool things that we realized when we were chatting between you guys and us. And it was like, oh yeah, we thought the same kind of things. And it was really nice to see that there was a lot of similarities there as well. So I think now it's time to introduce at least some of the people behind the GDG Tech Sessions. So Carlos, Diego.
Hey, hello.
We have also Fernando, but he's on the backstage doing all the important stuff, just plugging all of us into and out of the stream. So he will not be joining us on video, but he's with us. He's here. Thank you, Fernando, for doing this amazing job.
Someone has to do the hard work.
I know, somebody has to do it.
Everything seems perfect for the viewers.
So, Carlos, Diego, say hi, say a few words about yourself, and then we can just start kind of talking a little bit more about GDG Tech Sessions, I guess, as well.
Yeah, yes. You can start, Carlos.
Yeah, so I'm Carlos, I'm from Madeira, as well as Diogo and Fernando. We are members of GDG Madeira group, the GDG chapter. And in the last year, we started with the GDG Tech Sessions, but in a few moments, we'll talk a little bit about how we started about that, but that's it. Here we are after 1 year and kind of few months also, but we are enjoying a lot of doing this. And of course, I think this event is also important to know another perspective from other community that started with the same purpose. And I think it's important also to make people aware of the importance of these communities. So, Diego.
Yeah, I'm Diogo. I am also collaborating with Carlos and Fernando in GDG Madeira, and also collaborating with Rustam in GDG Tech Sessions. Yeah, I agree with Carlos and with the Android Worldwide team. Yeah, it's important to, in this time, to share like what we know or what the speakers that we invite know. Because we are recording these sessions, as you mentioned, and these sessions will stay forever, or until Google wants to shut down YouTube. But they will stay forever, and anyone can just recap what they learned and what are the views from other speakers from the same subject. Yeah, and in parallel, we are also doing some events for our local community. Last week, we did one about machine learning. So yeah, we are trying to, fight these pandemics in two ways: in GDG Madeira to help our local community, and in GDG Tech Sessions to help, like Android worldwide, we are trying to also help the community worldwide.
Yeah, that's actually a very good I guess description of what we're doing. Well, as you probably know, my name is Rustam, but I'm not in Madeira, even though I wish I would be right now. There, and well, probably any time of the year. I am a little bit further away. I'm in Oslo, Norway, so I'm organizer of GDG Cloud Oslo community. But then at some point last year, I got introduced to this thing called GDG Tech Sessions, and I thought it was really, really cool. And then, after a while, I started helping and joined this team as well. So it's been really fun and great way of having a bit more of, again, international kind of collaboration with someone that you would kind of like what Shalom said, right? Because you're kind of talking to other people that you probably wouldn't be that easy to connect with and to talk with. I mean, Madeira is a little bit far away from Oslo otherwise, without all this, it would have been a bit tough to cooperate and to work together and everything. So it's a cool thing. Should we say a few words about what we have done so far? I mean, we've shown this kind of slides and been updating them pretty much on every event that we have organized, but maybe it's worth kind of giving a little bit of timeline. Should I take it, or any of you wants to do that? Tech Sessions folks.
I can start with that point. So our first event, it was in May, but we started preparing the community, the GDG Tech Sessions community in April. But the first event just appeared 1 month later, more kind of 1 month. And since then, in the first year, we've made around 10 events. We collaborated with many speakers across Europe, and we covered a lot of topics as well as Web Vitals, Google Data Studio, Android security, and other topics as well. And this year we already started with machine learning topic. The last one that was in 2 weeks ago, we made about Google Cloud Platform, and we try to cover in a simple way, or introduce in the first the events in initial. With a low complexity, just introductory level, exactly. And we already covered a lot of topics. So we also have this YouTube channel, as you know, and you can see all the videos that we have so far. So this is our 16th video, and we don't intend to stop. So let's go, people.
That sounds great. Let's see, what else do we have? We have a few numbers that you've mentioned probably already, but anything worth mentioning over again now, or I'll just switch the slide, I guess.
Yeah, just to mention or to add, probably Android Worldwide can then share their numbers about the YouTube channel, but so far we have 3,000 total views and 150 subscribers so far, and we have attendees from United States, Portugal, Spain, Turkey, and so on. So
that's great. All right. Anything that you want to share with us on this side, Shalom, Faiz?
I'll add that. So I wasn't even aware of anything about our YouTube channel really until yesterday. Manish, who I believe is in the audience, and who I mentioned earlier is kind of newly coming in to help Faiz and I keep growing. Found out we hit like 300-400 subscribers, and the whole reason we have even a YouTube channel in the first place is because there's member of the Android community named Martin Braun. He runs a community called Android Budapest. He's also DevRel at Stream. He does like a bunch of stuff. Either way, the guy has been editing all of our videos from every event. We're talking like some events having like 7 people, and if he did not edit all those videos, which I promise you, I would have never done. I would have procrastinated, and I think Android Worldwide would have been harmed by speakers saying like, "What the hell, man? I thought we were recorded."
Shalom, you have an unhealthy relationship with video editing.
I do have a very unhealthy relationship.
So yeah, on our first event, we kind of create this relationship with OBS that did not take so long. So our first event, it was just like content. There were no faces, neither from the organization team, neither from the speaker. So you can imagine just slides and someone talking in the backstage, and you don't know where the voice is coming from. So we created this relationship, this old relationship with OBS, but then we changed to StreamYard, and it was like, it's much easier than when compared to OBS.
Yeah,
this is just a starting point to just share how was your first event in the Android Worldwide.
I think
I love how structured and formal you guys are about this. While I remember the first Android Worldwide event just being like, hey, let's just try this completely new platform by some company in China that we've never used or never heard about.
Yeah, Faiz wasn't even supposed to be invited. So, like, the first Android Worldwide event was kind of a group thing, but, like, Faiz was invited by mistake. So I only know Faiz by mistake.
I had a mistake.
So, like, that's how it went, more or less. We picked Remo, REMO. They had some, like, they were like some new software where they're like, you can have little tables and then people can speak in little groups of like 4, 6, or 8, whatever. And that's how we enabled socializing. And it was so buggy. Like, we're talking like everybody got in there and was like, and was begging for like some way to check if the thing's working, because there was no, like, the error handling was like non-existent, right? It's one thing to have bugs where like it crashes and that's frustrating. It's a whole other ballgame when like you're hitting errors. There's no definition of like what the hell is going on, and everybody's saying, "Hey, are you guys hitting this? Are you hitting this?" And we're like, "Well, we don't know what the hell's going on either because we've never used this."
I guess one of the main things that people, the most famous sentences for 2020 was like, "Hello, can you hear me?" And you actually took it to a totally different level, the whole thing, right?
The best part is that after the event, since we were a developer community, Shalom sent them a detailed email with tech feedback, what they should fix in their code.
Oh yeah,
to further improve their platform.
Did you get any feedback on that? Did you get any, at least thank you, or just like silence, or what happened?
I think it was like a generic thank you. Like September last year.
Yeah, they did not care a hell of a lot. They did not care because they were also like new enough, or like, we're all I think at least most of us, except Faiz, of course, is an engineer. And so we know, Faiz doesn't know, of course, no. That like, they probably had some product roadmap that they were working on, and they're like, all right, you want to ask for these fixes? We know our thing is crap. We just put this out. It's your fault for paying. Like,
like, I'm pretty sure at that point they were probably on some island in the Caribbean, sipping margaritas off the money we paid them, and they did not care, right? Because the payment was processed.
Oh man, yeah, we waste.
Well, that sounds like a classic Silicon Valley startup kind of thing, isn't it? Just like we push it and just,
No, it's called building in public.
There are no better tests than production.
Yeah, but then it's funny to look back and see, oh, we were like that, and now we are now putting intros, we are doing this kind of roundtables, we have, I don't know, we find it more easier to have an event and to discuss this kind of things, even in English, because Carlos and I, we don't have any, well, we do have some experience in English, but with these events, we put a lot of effort in trying to speak a better English to be understood by the others. So yeah, it's a
I
good
mean, I
idea.
have to say, I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I'm part of this team and everything, but I must say that I joined you guys maybe a few months after you started or something, and already then you were quite, I mean, there was nothing of those kind of scary things that you described in the beginning. All of those were gone, and you were quite professional already back then. So I mean, I don't think you actually, I mean, I don't think it actually was as bad as it feels for you guys, because I mean, when I joined a little bit, just a tiny little bit later, it was already really nice, and everything was kind of smooth and structured and everything. So
We fixed all
fixed it?
in the beginning, yeah.
I know.
But if,
Maybe you were secretly their good luck charm.
Maybe I would love to believe that. So I mean, this is kind of my superpower, you know. Just
I
come
mean,
in
they
and
can't deny
everything.
it.
Yeah.
They can't deny it, so you can just go ahead and call yourself that.
But they can't disprove it either. So now we're live already. So you know, sorry guys, but you know, it is how it is.
Actually, Rustem was one of our, I think was the third speaker or the fourth speaker.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's how it all started.
Yeah.
yeah,
Then
yeah, it all started in that way.
we grabbed him and we said, "Oh, you will stay here until we finish the project."
Yeah, I mean, they promised me to invite me to Madeira. How could I say no? I mean, what? That's. I mean, you had me already then. You know, at Madeira.
Wait, if everyone gets free trips to Madeira, are applications open?
see, it works.
Yeah, okay, let's try to speak about Madeira, because every meeting we end up talking about traveling and we end up advocating for you to come to Madeira. So you are free to come. We can offer a dinner and then we can discuss other things. But to travel, the trip, I don't know if we can pay for it, but let's see.
GDG, come on, GDG, let's see it. Show us your bucks.
But actually, you know what? We should. There is that's actually leads us to another kind of slightly different but related topic. Is this thing of how to promote events? And I mean, the local environment and everything is one way to promote it, but also, like, you know, how do you actually promote and create? I don't know. I wouldn't say hype, but I don't want to say hype at the same point, because it can be kind of has a little bit of more kind of just a little bit of negative kind of connotation, right? The word hype, but this is more of how to create a positive hype in a way, right? Around events and how to promote those. And because with virtual, I mean, what happened last year, everybody went virtual and in seconds or days or whatever, weeks, and everybody was producing content, and then you had to compete with much bigger audience for attention in a way, right? So maybe we should say a few words about that. I mean, well, obviously advertising for a really cool and nice place like Madeira works, but anything else?
I mean, our strategy has been basically what?
Non-existent.
Our strategy is basically like whatever we were handed over at the beginning, we just keep operating with that. So like the start of Ender Worldwide was a bunch of communities coming together. Okay, like then all these lovely organizers who we got in touch with at the start, just send them a ping. Like, so we just send them a ping every time we're about to put an event out. We only give about 3-4 weeks heads up, because we really don't want to be that well planned. Like, we don't want that feeling of rigidness. And like we have right now, I think 30 something, maybe 35 or so communities who, you know, I honestly think no more than 2 hours to 3 hours of total time to reach out to all of them, and then for them to all just get around to like saying either they're posting or they've already posted. And so like, yeah, we have like 30 some odd communities who we're just associated with, and we're like, hey, if you guys are open, if this event seems interesting to you, like here is a image that Faiz put together that's always gorgeous, and here are some simple details. If you want to post it, you can. Like, we love you guys no matter what. It's your choice. If your community enjoys it, then like it's all yours. And a lot of communities have tended to enjoy just taking it in because I mean, during the pandemic, it enabled them to have easy access to an event for their community. We're imagining, and even communities who have been active are still like, oh, well, you know what? Like, we would love to still participate. You know, we may have an event a couple weeks earlier, but we still love to post it in case somebody wants to join. And there are a lot of lovely, lovely organizers. I wish I could name them all. I mean, I could if it was interesting.
This
maybe
is
I thought.
50-minute session, Shalom.
Yeah, exactly. And so we basically just like that's the foundation of Android Worldwide's marketing strategy is we are not the marketers. We provide it to communities so that people who already were paying attention to their to Meetup, or now it's this gdg.community.dev thing. We're on a GDG live stream, so I'll keep my opinion very soft. But
so luckily I have my camera off, so I can just roll my eyes and nobody will know.
Yeah, because this guy actually works for GDG Mad. He's getting in trouble. I'm not. You guys are just bystanders. It's all cool. But yeah, so either way, like the community part is like the core foundation. After a little bit, we realized, okay, well, we should tweet about this. Like there is a very beautiful Android community on Twitter. So we're like, all right, let's like tweet on there too. Also, it's really nice to give these speakers and these communities who we're partnering with like recognition and like say broadcast, hey, like this person's speaking, like come support them if you want to. Even if you're not part of one of these communities, everybody is welcome. We're not exclusive to the communities who we partner with. Everybody in the world can join us if they feel. So then we got on Twitter, which now Faiz runs, because when I was doing it, it was like super bland tweets. Dude, I am so bad at Twitter. I don't get it, but Faiz is like a magician. So if anybody reads nice sounding tweets, assume it's Faiz.
It's kind of art. I mean, it's definitely kind of art to write like short and concise and like the proper tweets. It's all credits to you, Faiz.
So we have more or less the same, but in our case is Carlos. Carlos is the one who takes care about the social media part, like creating those fancy tweets with all these emojis and all these things. Oh, watch here, like these short URLs, and creates like a lot of stuff. But our strategy is similar. So I think I can talk by all team. So we have two types of polls. So we have the community and we also have the speakers. And sometimes the speaker doesn't know the community, and also the community doesn't know the speaker. So what we try to do is like create this bridge between the speakers and the communities. And with this, we are like promoting the communities, we are promoting the speakers, and at the end, we are also promoting the initiative. So besides social media, we work a lot on social media. We also try to to just delete this white space between the speakers and the communities.
I know. Often we also have, I mean, at least I would say probably at least a half of the time, or more, probably even more, we would have a local GDG supporting a speaker, where they. So we actually serve in a way as a platform for those GDG chapters to get better known in other places than their own kind of local communities and stuff. So you kind of introduce the GDG chapters, and then if there is no chapter representing a specific speaker, then we kind of still make sure that we try to do like Diego said, to build these bridges between the local community and local speakers, but also give them a platform, a way of kind of reaching others that would be harder alone. And also sometimes some people think it's a bit challenging to create all this streaming thing and all to host all the videos and everything, so we help with that as well. We can just be just the platform for them. So it's a different, we're kind of we're covering several different needs here, but the result is kind of the same. It's videos are out there, they're streamed, they're on demand, they have views, and speakers get their publicity as well, and GDGs as well.
Yeah, and maybe we are. Oh, sorry, Carl. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go.
I was just saying that we are helping communities and speakers during these tough times, and maybe after COVID, because they already know to which community they can share their work, maybe after COVID they can do in-person events. So we are like helping them right now, but maybe we are also helping them in the future. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. In fact, one of our motivations was also to build a platform that was able to communities or other communities to make online events, because we feel like the communities were not ready to get into this transition from in-person to online events, and there was a lack of experience in this software of streaming and leading with communication, also the hosting things, and a lot of stuff that a lot of communities and organizers were not ready at the moment. And in each event and in the most events of 2020, we tried to build that bridge that Duke was talking about between speakers that can or not belong to a GDG chapter and also some organizer of GDG chapter. And we promote the event from our side, from the GDG Tech Sessions, and also from this community of GDG chapter that was invited to this event, and also from the speaker. In that way, we have kind of 3 points of marketing or promotion of the event, and that worked well in the last year, and we opted also to make and follow the same strategy this year. But we also are looking for other formats or video formats, and this is one example. That is a roundtable discussion with an important topic. And of course, the strategy it's also similar. We promote also as well you Android worldwide, and we kind of get an audience that can be at synchronous or synchronous way, because as you know, we are here in live, but people can attend this video after in YouTube link. But yeah, I think in this way people are available. I think one of the great advantages of making online events or live events, it's like we can make available or make possible to people to make questions, and we can answer them in live. I think this is one of the big advantages of making live events, and of course making an async video or async event. It's like people can attend the video even if they are not available at that moment. But I think it's important also to discuss what you think about async or sync videos or events, or what will be succeeded, or both of them can be.
That was actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask all of us. Really, is So one of these things is that, my opinion first, maybe I should mention that, is that the synchronous videos, they give a different kind of atmosphere, or like kind of different kind of feeling to the to the whole event, because if it's just a recording, you kind of behave in a little bit different way. When it's live, you're a little bit and behave in a little bit different way. This is how many of us are. And the other thing is that if you're watching this stream and you think that, well, just going live on YouTube, how hard can that be? I mean, that's kind of obvious to me. That's really good for you. But just there is quite a lot of people that don't have that much experience with this kind of things. And for them, it was really, really hard kind of to first find speakers, find topics, while all this craziness around the world is going on, and like lots of uncertainty and everything, and also figure out how to stream things, and figure out what to use for this streaming, and how to interact with communities, which communities you should talk to, which speakers do you have to, all those things happening at the same time. It is. And I mean, I do hear it from people that, like, for some, it was actually still quite challenging thing. So just to mention that as well. But what the rest of you think? I mean, like, what do you think? Like, synchronous, asynchronous event, a mix? That's one thing, and the other thing is, what do you think the world will look like in a little bit when it gets opening up? When it will open up a little bit more and more and more, what do we see of the events in the future, like near future?
So, firstly, it dawned on me while you were talking, small tangent, that I don't think we've ever actually asked you guys for Oslo or Madeira to join us as partner communities. GDG tech sessions, like, whether or not that fits or not, it's harder to tell, like, for joining and participating in Android Worldwide event, because you guys have a very unique format that is not a standard GDG. But I find it hilarious how we've been in communication, and like the event marketing has started up, and it has not dawned on us once to ask you guys. Like, it didn't even like click, like, is that an option? So Manish, if you're up for it, first one, hound these guys, get them in. Sorry, that was my tangent. Just you're such lovely people. Like, of course we want you guys around.
Likewise.
But for the future of events, I think we still have to wait and see. Faiz and I talk about frequently, like, conferences, like, will those be popular again? Faiz is of the impression they will be. I'm of the impression they're gonna need to radically change. And given how cost inefficient conferences are known to be, like, I'm curious if it really can work out. I don't know. Like, my experience with people who host conferences, and Rustam, you've been hosting one for years, so you know much better than I do, is that the margins are super slim, especially for engineering conferences, where it's not like executives who are going to pay thousands of dollars. Like, and so you're doing it for the knowledge transfer. It's not really going to net you a lot of profit. But then if you're dealing with more people who are saying, hey, like, we're actually kind of used to a world now where the content has become a lot more accessible, and we know you're going to post to YouTube soon. Mm-hmm. And posting to YouTube has become easier. It's like, are people really going to show up and pay several $100s? Now, I've never worked for a company who actually pays for that. So I've heard that there are a lot of companies who pay for people to go to conferences. As someone who hasn't been to a company who's willing to ever pay, maybe there's this whole other realm of like, yeah, no, there's still a bunch of revenue coming in, but I don't know. So this has been my long ramble of like, what is the future of conferences? Because that's an important factor for us, is for like online communities, because we're all competing for online attention.
My just like first thought that when like my reaction to what you're saying is that I think I think it did. You're right that it kind of changed the way we kind of perceive the events and we expect even from events. I mean, like before, you would normally organize just in-person events or just virtual events, and that would be it. Now, I think, at least, kind of my gut feeling is that people would be more expecting of a mix. So if there is, even if it is an in-person event, they would still kind of expect you to have a video of the event or a stream of the event or something like that available. That's one thing. But the other thing, like to what you said about the format of the conferences and everything, again, that's my personal kind of opinion and everything. But I think we'll get back to what it used to be in one way or another, because people usually people usually pay and attend conferences in person, not for as much as only for the content, but also as an experience. It's kind of the way, I mean, you can watch the movie at home on your sofa, or you can go to a cinema, right? And people still go to the cinema and watch it there because, well, screens are better, sounds is better, blah blah, all those things. But also there is this thing of of socialization, where you go there with your friends, with your colleagues, whatever that might be, with a conference or cinema or whatever. So I think there is this value of social value as well, which a lot of people, I think, are kind of are missing right now, or have been missing during this virtual year of virtual events. Is this hallway conversations, and just like conversations over I don't know, a stale salad or whatever you get as a lunch in a typical conference event, and but you don't really care about that. You're more kind of think about the conversations and talking to friends, colleagues, people you've never met before, and things like that. I don't know. That's my 2 cents. But what the rest of you think?
I think the curveball. Sorry, actually, if somebody else wants to speak, go for
it. Okay, I can give my opinion on this. So, yeah, I think it will be a mixed kind of thing. So, when you go to a conference, like in a different country, you go there, and if the conference is like 3 days, you book 5 days in your auto, so you can stay 2 more days to, check the place. Like I'll go to the like the most touristic places in the country. So you don't go there just for the conference, you go there and also kind of tourist kind of thing. So I think it will be a mixed, so you can pay a little bit less for attending virtually, and you will pay a little bit more for attending in person. And I also agree with Rustam. Okay, in the first 2 years, yes, this mixed is going to happen, but in the 3rd, 4th year and so on, this will vanish, and everyone, in my opinion, will attend in person. And let's hope there is no another pandemic kind of thing, so we will not return to the same thing that we are living right now. So yeah, my thought is, in the first couple of years, it will be a mixed, but then in the 3rd and so forth, it will be just in person. Because of this, like you go there, you can share your work, you can get feedback, you can talk with the speakers without anyone is hearing what you are saying. Because if you go to a chat with them in a public chat room, you write a message, anyone can read your message. But if you go to a conference, you can ask, oh, can I talk with you for a brief moment to just share my work, get some feedback, and this kind of interaction. Even if they create like this amazing tool when you can go there and like imagine you are in a map, you can go there and talk with others virtually. I know there is one tool for that we tried last time. Although they tried to fill this gap between in-person and personal events, this for the first couple of years it will be mixed, but then it will vanish and it will be all just in-person events, in my opinion.
I feel like the softwares you're talking about that are meant to improve socializing, they're really all young. Like, so we used Remo back when it was brand new, and there were like zero good alternatives to it. AirMeet seemed to pop up at one point, and it's just as young. There's another one called Gather.town is their website. GDG Montreal hosted an event there recently. That's a little bit closer to Diogo, what you were talking about, where you can walk around on a map. They have it, and they did a great job of designing it. Like GDG Montreal did a great job of designing it, and it's a cool thing. But they're still like all these softwares are so young. I think and they're getting a lot of money. I think we're still too early. It's still too early to tell how great these things can become. AirMeet has been making a lot of improvements, and I'm sure Remo and the others have too. So the idea of being able to socialize nicely and to go have these side conversations, without a doubt, they're all aware of these. And the scalability of being able to set that up on, virtually is just so much better than, needing to find a venue that is just the right size that you're not going to end up paying out of pocket at the end. And also and you can also figure out a way to set up interior designing to help, set things up so people, you help stimulate these conversations. Like they've got that and they're data driven. So will they be able to compare? In person's in person. Like there's no doubt of that, but they have the opportunity to collect and analyze more data than conference organizers have been able to historically and really find improvements. And I think the money is going to keep getting shoveled into them until in the next few years, somebody's finally mature enough with that kind of a product that there is a perfectly good option. Because without a virtual option like that, like this event is never going to happen most likely, because are we all going to fly in to one location? Like all the people who are in the future even going to view this? Like,
Diogo just promised us to fly us into Madeira, by the way.
It's true. Because you guys aren't speaking, you can't be flown in, but we are.
I promised to dinner. I didn't promise to pay the flight, but
I can't hear. I heard fly in first class.
Yeah, you can check later what I said. I'm just kidding.
It's recorded. But yeah, I think that in the future, in the near future, probably, or let's say in another way, when things get more normal, I think people will get to attend physical events.
Shalom, you're in the vocal minority, because there are 4 of us who think we'll go back to normal, and then there's you who wants to do virtual events.
I'm still all virtual. I could be proven heavily wrong, but to me, the natural movement is towards being virtual, because it's so cheap. It's
cheap. You can attend. Everyone can attend it, but let's see one point. I think at this moment, online events are not an immersive experience as in-person events are or were. But we need to improve and make the online events in a more immersive experience. And I think that in this point, we can get it until now. So I think we will have one more years until online events get into virtual reality, augmented reality, and we kind of get into that local meeting new persons, because as Rustam said, I think the in-person events, it's the experience that takes people into there. It's knowing the country, as Diogo as well said. It's knowing another people that attend also the event. It's also seeing all the tracks, all the emotion that it's in attending the flight. Online events, we don't have that kind of stuff, and probably after one day or 1 week working in front of PC, People are getting into online fatigue and probably avoid to attend online events when they arrive to home. So,
and also,
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just finishing up because I think that in the near future, people will like to attend more in-person events when that will be possible. But probably in the future, probably that in that time, yeah, we will get into online events.
So Shalom, and I mean mostly to you because you're the vocal denier out here. One of the first things that you learn as a designer is that tech can never replace emotions. And something I've been recently exploring is called the Octalysis framework, where there are 8 base things that motivate people. So among them are things like accomplishment, social good, monetary gain, and one of those 8 quadrants is scarcity. Just the fact that an in-person conference is exclusive, only a handful of people get to attend, and you can see on Twitter, right? So every time there's one of these conference happening, you go to the hashtag and there's people put pictures of them on the flights, them in the hotels, pictures with their badges. I think the Google I/O badge pickup thing is like a tradition now. Everyone puts a picture on Twitter when they pick up a badge. Conferences really tap into scarcity as the human motivation, and I think that's a big factor in what's going to drive that going forward. Whereas as opposed to a virtual event where anyone can just dial in, there's no bar for entry. Even if there's a ticket cost, it's like a few $100s as opposed to a few $1,000s while traveling. And even if, say in an ideal world where, you're right, and these platforms do develop to a level that they can replace conferences, even if there's that one conference annually which gets everyone together to, to meet the top speakers in Android, people are still going to flock there.
Actually, I totally agree with you. And also one more thing, it's not only scarcity, I think, but also this thing of, I mean, we humans are kind of social animals, so we like this feeling of a, of a flock or of a group or for whatever, of a tribe. And then, when you're at that conference and you're like, hey, you know what, we are the whatever, Android tribe or, cloud tribe or whatever. And then you get this feeling of, being together, going back to the old times, gathering around the fire and grilling.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And,
you
and just look at sports as an example, right?
Yeah.
We're at a day and age where sporting events can be viewed in virtual reality, bringing you practically the same experience that you have in a stadium. Yet, as soon as the Euros opened up for viewers, stadiums are completely full. Right? I think semifinals were yesterday and today, and the stadiums were completely packed. Like 60,000-70,000 people rushing there just to get that experience which you will not get on your couch at home.
Yeah, but I mean, on the same time, I don't want to kind of. I want to agree with Shalom at in some things that I think, at least in the near future, it will be a mix. And I definitely think that all those platforms that pretty much been developed in rush throughout the last year will get better and better, and they will help to get a lot of events to do mixed kind of content or, still run virtually for some time. But I think it will be in a best. My best guess, it would be a mix for quite some time, and then I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. So, but that's my thing. I don't know.
Well, there's at least one Android conference that's always going to be online.
Yep.
Yes,
yes,
and also
that's
broadcasting. Like broadcasting conference, I believe that is hard, like connecting the mics, like have a good set of cameras to broadcast the conferences in high quality. So it's a lot of work then when compared with these just online events. So I don't see if people is going to be putting a lot of effort in the next couple of years. So I think they will shift for just in-person events. So there is this burden of having a good set of cameras, having good internet quality for not causing any type of lag. So yeah, it's hard to plan this conference kind of thing and broadcast to the internet.
Which kind of hits the point of the reason. Well, I found Faiz's example of sporting events to be kind of interesting. It's like, oh well, look, there's a perfect example of people going back. But the one point, the one problem with that example is they can afford the cost of infrastructure, right? Like you're talking about like setting up cameras and mics and everything so that you can do a proper hybrid event. Like that, you need to have that all set up nicely to actually attract a paying audience for a hybrid event. And that's going to be expensive infrastructure. Now, maybe it'll become more efficient to the point where it's a super simple thing that is easy to factor into the pricing cost of a conference. But if it's not, then like that's where it loses its parity with sporting events, because these sporting events make so much money that totally they can afford to have excellent 4K 8K like cameras that are then streaming and everybody can watch it, and then they have ads in between. Good luck to a conference organizer throwing in crappy ads in between, because people are gonna that's you don't get that kind of revenue. So I mean,
but then you have companies, you have companies out in the venue that get to talk to people and everything. So this is usually a driver also for more of in-person events, because then those companies can reach a local community of developers for any reason, right? For selling their product, or even for recruiting them to start working for them, or whatever that might be, product awareness, advertisement, whatever that might be. So it's actually, that's another good point for a possibility, because when you do events where you stream, you don't have any control of who's going to attend and where they are going to be from. While those local events has a little bit more of kind of more distinct communities that will show up. That might help a little bit with organizing in-person events as well. But I don't know. We'll see. Time will show. It's really hard to predict anything, and probably everything we say will be totally different in a few months or something like that. So I wouldn't be very surprised if it is. If it's not, then I can say, well, I told you so and everything. But if it's not, then I kind of covered my bases too. So. But from jokes aside, I think we've been talking for almost an hour now, so maybe it's time to round up. But before we round up, anything that any of you or 5 of us here on the stream that you want to share at as a kind of conclusion or last thoughts or anything to people watching?
I can say just a simple thing, this is just a curiosity. So the Android worldwide was created about the same time as Google Tech Session, as GG Tech Sessions. We are from different parts of the world and we are different types of communities, but we were thinking at the same time in the same purpose. So that's kind of interesting to share.
Yeah. No, it's really lovely to have this conversation. Thank you guys for hosting it. Faiz and I are planning a South by Southwest submission that's totally gonna bomb, but we're basically gonna use this conversation to come up with ideas, which I will come up with crap ones, Faiz will come up with good ones, and we'll have an okay submission. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for organizing all this.
Thank you guys also for being here with us today and sharing your experience with Android worldwide, because I think that it's very important to community to understand what was the challenges, the cons, the pros of doing and creating a community like that. Thank you again.
Thank you all for coming, and feel free, any of you watching us, feel free to ping us both, Android Worldwide and GDG Tech Sessions, and we can try to see if we can help each other and make things, make a tech world a little bit better at a time. All right, I think it's time to say thank you very much, and well, we really hope to see you all soon again. And again, thank you very much, Faiz and Shalom, for joining us today. And it's been really, really, really great chatting with you. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.